Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bright Spots. I'm your happiness ambassador, Lori Labishak, and I am your host this evening for this 16th edition of Bright Spots. I am so glad that you've decided to join us. Our guest this evening is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. She is a dear, sweet friend and a mentor and an inspirer, and I just can't wait for you to meet her. Before we get there, though, a few house rules. Remember, if you're popping in and you're watching, please drop us a message down below so that we know that you're here and we can talk with you. Please feel free to ask questions and make comments. We absolutely want to interact with you. This is the interactive part of a live show. So we definitely want to hear from you. So each week we come on here and I have a little bit of a something to say. So I'm going to tell you today, I want to talk about masks. You know, we're all having to wear masks. I'd love to hear what you have to say about wearing a mask. Are you wearing a mask when you go to the grocery store? Does your state require mask wearing? Here in Ohio, it's not required except in several counties, but our county has not put a mandate in for masks yet. I'd love to know what you're doing where you are. Is masking something that is making you uncomfortable? It doesn't really make me too uncomfortable. I can wear a mask when I go shopping. I prefer not to. It's not the best fashion statement, but I will tell you, I like to have something that looks good, right? Those of you that know me, you know that I'm going to wear something that looks good. So hold on just a second. I'll show you the mask I've been sporting. So there we go. This is, you know, it's got to be fashionable, right? It's got to have a little bit of bling and a little bit of zing, right? So it doesn't, you can make it fun. You can really make it fun. So it's one of those things that you really have to think about how you're reacting to it. We could push back. We could be miserable. But if we make it fun, get somebody to make you a really fashionable mask and just have fun with it. You know, it's only temporary, guys. It's not going to last forever. It is going to change. We're going to come out the other side of this. I promise. We're not going to wear masks forever. For the time being, we probably have to wear them sometimes to protect those around us. So if you're fussing about wearing a mask, try to make some fun out of it. And I bet it'll change your attitude. So when we're talking about attitude, the lady that I'm going to introduce to you, she is the queen, or maybe I should say the doctor of attitude. This is the Hope Doctor. Dale Smith Thomas hails from Franklin, Tennessee, and that's right outside of Nashville if you're not sure of the geography. Several years ago, I met Dale, and I honestly don't know how I found her. Maybe an internet search. That's probably it. But I was working at OVMC just south of here, and I needed someone to come and talk at an event that we called Pink Power Night. And I found Dale. I'm sure it was an internet search. And she was beautiful. And I watched a couple of her videos and I said, yes, we've got to have this lady here to talk to the women of the Ohio Valley. And Dale was gracious enough to come. And I think I've had her back twice since then. So 3 times in the Ohio Valley. But I have to tell you, that first meeting and that drive from the airport and dinner at Cheddar's, I'll never forget it. I felt like I had known Dale my entire life. I felt like she'd always been a part of my life. You know, those kindred spirits? I bet you're going to feel the same way. So ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome my sweet friend, the Hope Doctor, Dale Smith Thomas.
Oh my gosh, Lori, what a fabulous introduction. And I also remember that first time. Hi. Can you hear me? This is all new for me. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, this is a new platform, I know. And Dale and I came on yesterday and kind of played around a little bit so that we would both be comfortable with this new technology. So Dale, for the people who don't know you and have never heard you speak, tell us who you are, how you got started, what do you do, what makes you so special?
Well, first of all, thank you, Lori. I am So thrilled to be here and coming to you live from my home here in Franklin, Tennessee. And I just, first of all, congratulate you on this fabulous show. And I remember as I travel around the world as a professional speaker, a motivational speaker, and there are those bright spots in your career that you always remember. And one of those bright spots was the day that I met you. And that is absolutely the truth. And I knew that from that first meeting that we would stay connected. One of those, as you said, I've known you all my life type of things. And as a motivational speaker, professional speaker, I have been traveling around the world now for almost 25 years, a little over 25 years now, actually. I am born and raised in North Mississippi, so I'm a true Mississippi girl. I grew up in a little map dot town right outside of Starkville, Mississippi. My parents, we all were raised there, 10 miles out in the country from the nearest town. And, I didn't dream of growing up and being a motivational speaker. I was the kid that was a little bit shy. I didn't have the best attitude. But because of the things I've learned along the way and some of the things I'll share with you tonight, not only did I start to branch out, change my attitude, start to step out there and follow this calling on my life, because I believe my speaking career is not just my career, it's my calling. And so I now have written several books and another one on the way. And I am considered the hope doctor out in my professional world. And I believe hope is helping other people excel. And that's why I'm called the hope doctor. I'm the doctor of hope. And hopefully by tonight, we'll have a lot of hope dealers that are out there dealing hope and creating more bright spots in the world. Because right now, as we're going through this very dark time, the best thing that we can all do is turn on more light. And that's what you're doing through this show. And I am honored to be here tonight.
Well, Dale, wow, thank you for those sweet things that you said. I am humbled. I am absolutely humbled. And so folks, you are tuning into Bright Spots. We're starting to get a crowd, and I love that. Please drop us a message. Let us know that you're here. And
yes, because I can't see the chat, so I need to know where you're joining us from. Please shout out and let Lori tell me where we're seeing you or hearing you from tonight. And I'm thrilled that you're part of our show tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And if it's your first time tuning into Bright Spots, please let me know that as well. So Dale, as a speaker on the national stage and the international stage, this pandemic has created some interesting opportunities for growth.
As Les Brown would say, it's been a character building experience.
That's right. That's right. So tell us about what type of speaking you do first, and how you make your living, what you do, and then how this pandemic has truly changed that, and what you've done to pivot into the next phase.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for asking that. First of all, people always go, how did you become a speaker? Well, my path to the speaking stage was quite a bit different. I say that I didn't choose speaking, speaking chose me. Back in the early 90s, I actually represented the state of Tennessee at the Mrs. America pageant. And while I reigned as Mrs. Tennessee that year, a lot of organizations started asking me to speak. So I started sharing the principles that had changed my life, the principles that had taken me from that little tiny town in North Mississippi to moving to Nashville and doing the things that I was doing. So I just started telling stories. One of the stories I shared was my friend and my piano teacher growing up was crippled in a car accident and was told she would never walk again. But because of her faith and because of her belief and the life principles that she embraced, she not only learned to walk again, she became Miss America. And she was that mentor, that bright spot in my life that said, yes, you can do it. So she competed at Miss America and won in 1980. And in 1990, I competed at Mrs. America. Now, I didn't win the big sparkly hat, but I think I won so much bigger, which was the life lessons that taught me through that competition. So from there, I started to speak to a lot of women's groups, and from there to many direct sales groups, and from there to corporate America. And in the past few years, the majority of my work has been in healthcare. I'm usually the opening or the closing keynote for a conference or a leadership event. And like I said, this is not just my career, this is my calling. And every time I step out there, it's my goal to give one piece of information that someone can take and put into their life immediately and start to change the way they think, start to change the way they put those thoughts into action, because everything in our life is created twice, between our ears and then between our hours. So we have to start paying attention to what we're thinking and the things that we're focusing on, because what we focus on gets bigger. So that's what I do. I'm so fortunate to do it around the world. But as of March, I was about to launch into one of the biggest months of my life as a speaker. We had so many great things booked and was so excited. And overnight, it all went away. And at first, I'm going to be real honest with you. At first, I was like, okay, you know, it's good. It's all good. And then the second one canceled and the third one canceled. And then they canceled further out. And I'm going to be real transparent. I was a mess. It took me a minute to absorb it, because it wasn't just the loss financially for my company. It was this thought that my calling and this feeling that I have of what I want to share was just stopped. And so I had to allow myself to feel this, because everything, my friends that are joining us, and thanks to all of you that are here tonight, you can either go through it or grow through it. And to be real honestly, for the first few days, I didn't want to do either. I was just a whiny little mess. But as it started to really, I started to ask myself, what am I feeling? What are the next steps? What can I do next? And then it's just like I heard God or the universe say, just because you can't be out there on a stage and maybe the career part has kind of halted or pivoted, your calling hasn't stopped. And so you have to find a way to step into your calling in a different avenue. And now through the beautiful world of technology that you're teaching me, thank you, that I'm learning different ways to share this message. So through that, I also lost my father and then my father-in-law. So it's been a lot of loss surrounding. And so I've decided, what am I learning? Every day I ask myself, what am I learning? And maybe in a few minutes, I'll tell you the daily practices that I kept in place in order to grow through this, not just go through it.
So Dale, as you look back at the past 3 months, what do you believe has been the biggest challenge for you personally? Not so much professionally and having to change the way you do business, but what about from a personal standpoint? How did the stay-at-home order affect you? Because you did have a stay-at-home in Tennessee as well, correct?
Yes.
And I know you have a lot of family things going on. And how has it affected you personally? And I know you want to talk a little bit about the sympathy, the part of losing your daddy and your father-in-law. And tell us about that. Tell us about your personal struggle through it as well.
First of all, I'm a Southern girl. Let me tell you how it affected me personally. I have a belief that comes straight out of the core of Mississippi. I have a belief, if it's moving, hug it. If it ain't, sell it. And so I live and breathe hugging people. And, it's a joke with me. I hug my sky cap at the airport because I'm out there all the time. So just that close proximity, physically hugging people and interacting. I love connection. I live and breathe connection. And so first and foremost of all, the first thing I felt was this just, I don't know, like part of me had been taken away because I couldn't hug people. And then just as COVID hit, we had just put my dad in a facility in North Mississippi for some evaluation, a geriatric unit, and because he was showing some signs of dementia. And we put him in on a Tuesday, and on Thursday, bam, it all closed down. So one of the hardest things for us was my dad was a little confused about why he was being taken to the facility and why, we said when we left on, oh, thank you. Hi, Jessica. I love hugs too. Thank you. Here's a virtual hug. So when we took my daddy in, we said, hey, Daddy, we'll be back on the weekend and we'll see you. They're going to let us come see you on Sunday. And then he was also struggling with his hearing and he couldn't hear us on the phone. So that was so emotionally hard to not be able to help him understand. We just felt like he thought we just dropped him off, you know? And so he was there for 2 weeks, and we knew he had some dementia issues, but honestly, we decided to bring him out back to our home to see if we could manage that for a little while. And thank God we did, because we had him home for 3 more weeks before we believe he had a slight stroke, and then went into the hospital with aspiration pneumonia, and then we lost him a few weeks later. But one of the blessings of being in a small community, and to anybody, any of my Webster County friends that are watching, my love to my precious, sweet community. And to the last few days of his life, we were able to go in and be there with him. And let me also say this, a lot of my work, a lot of what I do is out in the healthcare world. And so to all of you who are working in healthcare in any capacity, just let me give you my honor and my thanks to you for all those people that I've not been able to say thank you. If you're here watching us, either here live or on the recording, let me just say thank you. Because as a family who has lost someone through this time, it's one of the hardest things to do. So thank you. There would be the nurses that would stand there and hold the phone for him and just basically interpret what we were saying to him. And so to all of the first responders in any capacity, we love you and we appreciate you, and we will never forget what you've done.
So Dale, my heart just breaks for you, and I love you so much. I wish I could hug you. I miss the hug and the handshaking as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning into Bright Spots, a weekly show highlighting folks who are shining their light in the community in a very special way. And tonight's guest is Dale Smith Thomas, the Hope Doctor from Franklin, Tennessee. And she's sharing with us some of her struggles through the pandemic and how she's coming out the other side. And she's got a great message for us. She's got some principles that she's going to share. And I really just wanted you to get to know her. We need you to interact. Please let us know that you're here. Post a comment. Ask Dale any questions that you would like, or me, either one of us. And we joked yesterday that the Hope Doctor and the Happiness Ambassador have hooked up.
We're hooked up.
That's right. We're hooked up to bring you joy. So that is our goal this evening, is to leave you feeling filled and ready to continue through this world that we are now facing.
Shout out to us where you're from. I'm seeing some of the comments now. And so I would love to know where you're joining us from. It's, you know, that this isolation, and especially for a person who used to, you know, I call Southwest Airlines my private airline because I'm on there so much. And so I am so missing being out in these communities in these different states and just sharing this message. So it's just great to see your names pop in, and I would love to know where you're joining us from.
So I know one of your hashtags when you were traveling was high heel
Hope Dealer.
Hope Dealer, high heel Hope Dealer. It's been a while. So are you still using that hashtag, high heel?
No, we use them all. We use them all. That comes out of my beauty queen days. And so I thought, because everyone knows it's a joke with me that I'm always in high heels, and now I'm about to get really, 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 really transparent, because I'm in high heels all the time and I love them, and I have for a long time. They're just my thing. I love them. So after, you know, all the travel shut down, here I am walking around my house in flip-flops and barefoot or doing that. And all of a sudden, y'all, my feet were killing me. And I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. Now I get it if I'm wearing the big girl shoes. I get it if I have no right to complain if my feet are hurting out of those shoes. But what in the world is going on right now when I'm barefoot? And I realized it's because my arch is so used to the high heels, the flat shoes were just not working. And so yesterday I was in the grocery store in heels this tall and in a mask. And okay, by the way, someone sent me a mask with crowns on it. It's great. It's in my car. And this woman looked at me. She goes, I would break my neck if I was in those shoes. And of course, I had to tell her the story of why I had to wear the shoes, because my feet were hurting when I was in flip-flops. So there.
Oh my goodness. I'm just the opposite. I think my feet would hurt if I wore the shoes that you wear. I've seen your shoes.
It's called conditioning. And I know that we're coming back out of this, sometime. So I'm considered this training camp. So I'm having to, keep the shoes. And that's, some of the things that I have done. People have asked me, and I've been a guest on many podcasts and other shows. And, people are asking me, what are you doing differently during this time? What are you keeping in place? And one of the things that I've kept in place, and people think I'm absolutely out of my mind, but that's okay. It works for me. Is that I have kept my morning routine. And when I was traveling, even though, many days I was up very early, but even if I wasn't, my body clock, and I'm going to say this, my body clock is set to 5 a.m. And most people go, you are crazy. But my coffee goes off, I hear the beans grinding, and then at 5 a.m., I go into what I consider my hour of power. And now that I have time, it's more like 2 hours of power. So what does that mean? I have my coffee, I have whatever book I'm reading, which there's usually 2 or 3. I have a journal, and that is always right there. And then I have either a YouTube or a podcast or something that I am listening to. Because one of the things that I have found through the years, if you want to stay positive, and especially when you're dealing with so much uncertainty and negativity, you have got to feed your soul. And right now, you do not have to look for despair or negativity or hard situations. All you have to do is turn on the news or get on one of the social media outlets. And so now I think more than ever, we've got to create this space in order to fuel our souls, to stay positive and stay victorious, and to grow through this and ask yourself, what am I learning right now? What is making me uncomfortable right now? What am I afraid of right now? Because what I've found is that fear is a reaction and courage is a decision. And so many times people throughout the years on the road would say, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to do the morning routine. Guess what? We don't have that excuse anymore, because all those things that have been taken away has just kind of tuned us in and given us an opportunity to do things differently. And so that's one of the things I've done, is to keep that hour of power. And then I go from that into some type of exercise routine also. So that's one of the things I've done, is to keep my early morning routine, even though there are no airplanes to be caught right now.
So Dale, we do have a question from Kathy Pascarella.
Hi, Kathy.
What is your most requested topic? And I'm going to take that a step further and ask you, why do you think it's your most requested topic?
I have a program called Choices Creates Champions. And especially in the healthcare world through the years, it has been probably the most requested, because I believe that being a champion is a choice. And we can't always determine the outcome of basically this game of life that we're playing. But champions know this. Champions know that you have to win from within first. Coach Lou Holtz said it best many years ago after winning one of his many national championships. Someone asked him, they said, Coach Holtz, what did you do to go out and win this national championship? And he said, we didn't go out to win the national championship. We simply went out to be our very best. And when you are your very best, you are a champion. And so that is something I had to learn. And I had to learn that it has to start with your championship mindset. And it is just so, negativity is normal. And I think we can all agree with that. And what I've learned through the years, and I went through a course out at UC Berkeley, and I did this happiness factor choice. It's the choice about happiness and the science of happiness. And what it taught was that optimism can be a strategy, that we get to choose optimism. We get to choose that, but we have to stop and pay attention, because most of the time we're just on automatic pilot. So I think that the reason that topic resonates is that it puts the choice back on us. It says, regardless of what we face, we have a choice on how we respond to it and how we control our attitude and the next steps we make, even though we can't control anything that is going on around us. And trust me, I've had to go back and listen to myself a couple of times.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning into Bright Spots, a weekly show highlighting bright spots around our world. This evening's guest is Dale Smith Thomas of Franklin, Tennessee, and she is the Hope Doctor. Dealin' hope, guys.
Dealin' hope.
Dealin' hope. So, as we are tuning in, please drop us a line. Let us know where you're from. And a former Nashville person has popped in to say hello.
Lisa. Hey, Lisa, did they ask about your accent up there in Toronto, Ohio?
She doesn't have an accent, Lisa.
She has no accent. Lisa has no accent.
I think she's been a Yankee too long.
People always ask me and say, where are you from? And sometimes, especially when I'm in North Dakota, I'll say South Dakota. They don't ever believe me.
I wonder why.
I tell people I speak two languages. They're just English and Southern, and I only speak one fluently.
There you go. There you go. So Lisa responds and says,
not anymore.
Yeah.
I bet you can still say y'all, though, Lisa. I bet you can.
We can all still say y'all, right?
That's right.
You know, my husband tells me my Southern accent comes back when I talk to my mama.
Oh, listen. My accent gets 3 levels thicker when I cross the state line, and especially if I pick up the phone and talk to my mother. Sometimes I hear myself. We did a video with my daddy right before, probably 6 months before he passed, and I was talking to him. I couldn't even hardly listen to the video. I was like, what happened to me? I don't normally sound like that. But, you know, it's so fun. It's been so fun to go back home. And one of the beautiful things, even though it was very hard losing my father during this time, it's, you know, we find a way. We find a way to do what we need to do. And one of the most precious stories for me is that when Daddy passed away, and Daddy was a pretty big personality in our very small community, and I started learning things about my daddy that I didn't know. People were telling me stories about some of the things that he did for them and how he was honestly dealing hope to a lot of people that I didn't know about. And they could not come to the funeral because we only could have like 20 people at that time in that little funeral home. And so many people had called my mama and called me and my brother to try to find out. And we said, we'll have a celebration of life. And they're 9 miles out in the country from where the funeral home is. And the sheriff's department sent 2 cars with lights flashing to lead the funeral procession for my daddy, which he would have loved. And as we took that hill right near that little church cemetery, it makes me cry to think about it. There were all of his friends. And they were parked on the side of the road, and they were standing outside their vehicle, and they were spread out all over the cemetery. None of us knew that was going to happen. But even in the times where we have to do it different, it makes a difference. So I'm saying to you today, who are you checking on? Who are you reaching out to? I think it's so important for us when we can't reach out and be there physically to pick up that phone and say, hey, how are you doing today? How is this affecting you today? What do you need? And sometimes people just need to hear from us. So it was a beautiful way for people to show their respects to my dad, and they found a new way to do it in a time where we can't do it like we used to.
Yeah, I think that if anything, the pandemic has been a lesson in adaptation. We have had to adapt, or as you say, pivot, the beauty queen pivot.
Pivot.
For the FBQs in the room, right?
Yes, the HHBQs, has been beauty queens.
Oh, okay. HABQs. Okay, got it. So we're going to take one more comment here from Alicia Freeman. Hi, Dale. I love your words change the world.
Thank you, Alicia.
When your events were canceled during COVID, what did you do to fill that time?
Well, I tell you, when it first happened, I was honestly running back and forth to Mississippi. It was just a 5-hour drive to either be there with my mother or be there when my daddy was still at home. And because of COVID, you know, that was the bright spot in COVID, is that because my entire calendar went to 0 overnight, my dad died the day before Mother's Day. And so all of March and all of April, when we were back and forth, not knowing how we were going to manage all of this, I was able to step up and be there with my mother, which was a beautiful blessing. So that was a big part of my time. The other part of my time I've been using just to grow and to learn. I've read more books, I'm listening to more podcasts, and I'm educating myself in this new world of technology. We started up the Hope Doctor's Instagram account. I've been meeting with people about a new platform, a video platform where we'll be going live a couple of 3 times a month. And so I've been growing and learning and also taking some classes. I have recently, I'm almost done with a certification. I am becoming a certified performance coach. And so I'm just expanding and growing. And this may be a time where we can't do it, like I said, like we normally do, but growth never stops if we make that choice. And I'm drinking a lot of coffee.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break and give Dale a minute to catch her breath. And when we come back, we're going to share with you some of her social media platforms so that you know where to find her and go see her. And I know that Dale has 1 or 2 or 3 more messages for you before we finish today. Folks, go anywhere back. Welcome back. This is Bright Spots, a weekly show highlighting individuals and organizations who are shining their light in unique ways. And this evening's guest is Dale Smith Thomas, the Hope Doctor, all the way from Franklin, Tennessee.
Yes.
Welcome back, Dale, and welcome back, everyone. So, Dale, you mentioned in your preview that you had some principles that have gotten you through the pandemic that you wanted to share with us.
Right.
We'd love to hear those. We'd love to know how you have navigated this new world that we're all living.
Right. And let me also reach back to Alicia. And first of all, Alicia, thank you for that question about what I've been doing also during the COVID. I'm also writing and doing a lot more writing, and I'm excited about some of the things that will be coming out hopefully by the end of the year. So that's another thing, is staying in that creative space. Well, one of those principles I just shared with you is I call it my 5 a.m. club. And why that has been important to me is that I believe it has to be the foundation, that you have to create the foundation for yourself, especially when so much is coming at you. And that time that I block out, and I do it when I travel too, I block out that time, and it's just not negotiable. Because just like we have to put in food for our bodies to be the physical foundation, I think our soul has to be fueled with things that restore it and build it up. And in order to be able to make a difference in other people's lives, you have to refill. So one of the principles is create a morning routine, win the day in the morning. And that may mean 15 minutes for you. That may mean 20 minutes. And I challenge you, if you're telling me that you can't have the time to do it, what I say to my audiences is stop scrolling, because I'm not asking you to add more time. I'm asking you to just substitute, to make yourself a priority. And I can promise you, if you will put this principle into practice, start your day differently. Start it with something positive and powerful, and do it repetitively for at least 30 days, 60 days. You won't know your life. You won't know your attitude. And people will start to notice that. One of the other principles, Lori, that is part of that, and I don't know why, and maybe Lori, you can jump in here. I don't know why people push back on me so hard on this, but it's one of the products I'm getting ready to create. It's journaling. Why do people push so hard? I would love to know. I would love to know the answers on this. But a journal is one of the things, other than the books I read and the information I listen to, this has changed my life more than anything. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. People always say, I don't know how to journal. Pick up a pen, open a page, and start writing. So we don't know exactly what we're going to call it yet, but I'm kind of, the hashtag for me is going to be write it out, work it out. And so it's going to be your write it out, work it out space. Because what happens, people, is something happened yesterday or 1,000 yesterdays ago that's still nagging at you. What that person said to you is still bugging you, and it's rolling around on a hamster wheel inside your head. So what I call this is your mind dump. And then ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Why is this still hurting me so much? What is this trying to teach me? What am I really feeling at this moment? How can I turn this to be a benefit to me? And if you start asking yourself these questions, I promise you, you will hear your inner soul and your inner voice start to speak to you. And once you get that, I call it you're taking out the trash. You know, there are things in your life that you just need to get outside of you. And sometimes you have somewhere to share that. But a lot of times when we share it, people just kind of pile on and they throw more gasoline on that problem. And, you know, it's like a girlfriend goes, girl, let me tell you what my husband did. And girlfriend goes, I put his clothes in the yard. I wouldn't put up with that. And so then a woman starts, she's a little ticked off by sharing that. And then her friend piles on and tells her 10 more reasons she should be ticked off. And then it gets to be a full fire. So what I'm asking you to do is put it here and work it out and listen. And do you know, and I did the research for my last book, that most of the great leaders in the world were journal keepers, because they've written their goals down, they've written their blessings down. And so I am creating right now with some people a new journal that will have some questions for you every day, the same questions every day, to help you get to that space. And it's one of the biggest tools that have changed my life, Lori. Lori, come on, jump in here. Are you a journaler? Do you do it or no?
I am a journaler. Yes, I do journal. I have a gratitude journal that I do every day, and I write down all of the things that I'm thankful for. But I have as well. So when I have those days that I have,
say that one more time.
I said I have a gratitude journal. Okay. I write down all of the things that I'm thankful for. Did you lose me?
No, I still got you.
Okay. And I also have a work it out journal that good. I write down the stuff that gets in my head that I can't get rid of, because what you were talking about, talking to girlfriends and piling more stuff on. So for me, what I discovered was that when I shared those things, when I just needed to vent, just to share the stuff that was rolling around in my head, someone always tried to fix it. And I didn't need somebody to tell me how to fix what was bugging me. I just needed to dump it out and be rid of it. Right. So that's why I started the Work It Out journal, was to, as you said, take the garbage out. Just take the trash out. Just write it down. Write about why it's bugging me and what I need to do, what attitude I need to adjust to make it change. and move on and be done with it.
And don't censor it. There are two rules that I think have to be in place for this to work. Number one, it has to be a safe space. It has to be a safe space. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has a right to read your journal. This is between you and the good Lord, and that's it. It's between you and the good Lord. So if you don't feel safe, you can't really dump it out, because you've got to have a safe place. And secondly, and when you get that in place, when you have the safety box, then you can write without censoring. And one of the greatest tools, I journaled, I think we called it a diary when I was young. And, the little diaries that had the little tiny locks. Do y'all remember those? Or am I way too old? And they're like, what, who's that about, right? But there's a beautiful book called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And she talks about writing down your morning pages. It's one of my favorite books of all time, The Artist Way. I love this book. I've had it since 1998. I've highlighted it in every color, because every time I read a book, I highlight differently. Here's another clue. Because the first time the book, you're kind of getting through the book, and then the book gets in you. But every time you read it, if you're growing, there's something new that you didn't see before, because you couldn't see it because you weren't at that growth space. So that's what you have to do. And then you just dump it out. Thank you, Jessica Kelly, for that affirmation, because I've been wanting to do a journal for a long time. And I keep asking myself, what is it? What is it? What is it? What do people need? So thank you for confirming that affirmation to me, that those are some of the questions that we will be putting into do you guys like that? The write it out, work it out. Do you like that idea of write it out, work it out? I would love to hear your input on that, because we're still, there's the 5-minute journal, there's the gratitude journal, there's this journal and that journal. And so none of that worked for me. Although I do gratitude in mine, I wanted it to be bigger than that. We got to take out the trash so we can be a vessel. You were created to be something special. There are ideas that are coming to you that are only coming to you. If any of you that are watching us right now, if you are creative, if you are a writer, do not hesitate. Go get the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my life, because she talks about when inspiration comes to you, it's coming to you. And I believe that whatever song you're supposed to sing, whatever book you're supposed to write, whatever speech you're supposed to give, it is for you. Don't cheat the world of your gifts. And that journal sometimes is the place to work out that fear, because we get so fearful about what are other people going to think. Most of the time, they're not thinking about whatever you think they're thinking about. Like I said, fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. Have the courage. Create your hour of power. Stand in your power and say, I am doing this for me. Because if I can be my best self, I can be a better mother. I can be a better friend. I can be a better spouse. I can be a better partner. I can be a better whatever. You can give more if you will fill your soul and then give. But none of us can run on empty. Your car can't, and you can't either. See, you put me out here, I start preaching, girl.
Dale, I will second the shout out about The Artist's Way. Dale told me about The Artist's Way several years ago, and it was the best book. And I have shared it and know that, it's a great way to kind of get inside and to learn to journal. It really taught me a lot about journaling and writing everything down. It really helps you learn so much about yourself. Now, I've not read Big Magic.
So true. And you know what?
I've not read Big Magic, and I'm going to go get it.
Big Magic. Oh, it's a must. It is an absolute. And some of the stories that she tells this fabulous story about a book, a fiction book she had the idea of writing and kept putting it off. Ended up at a writer's conference with Ann Paget, who lives here in Nashville, has Parnassus Books. And so they're chatting about some of the ideas they're writing. Ann spills what she's writing. the exact same idea that Elizabeth had been pondering. And it was some bizarre, like South America. I mean, it was so bizarre. But Elizabeth talks that inspiration goes, okay, you're not going to be a good steward. I'm going to move on. So all of you have some gift that you're supposed to bring to this world. And I believe that when you get quiet and journal and listen, you will know, if you don't already know, whatever that gift is, I believe it will appear to you. And that through this quiet time of what I call is turning to the quiet, turning within and putting all the noise away and just getting true with you. And I believe this is a wonderful way to do it. So that's one of my hardcore principles. And then the other one, of course, is reading a good book every day. If you would simply read 10 pages of a good book every day, notice the word good, something that's good for your soul, good for your expansion. This is all about growth. And you can do that now through podcasts or Audible or whatever. But for me, I need a book in my hand with a highlighter, because I go back, you know, like I said, a year later, pick up the book, look where I was, read again, and then look at something else. So create a morning routine. Get into some kind of hour for power, 15 for power, whatever you need to do. Find that time. Give yourself the gift of that time. Get a journal. Please promise me. Please shout out to me. Promise me that you're going to do this. And if you guys follow me on any of my platforms, you'll know when our journal comes out, and if you need those prompts. And then read 10 pages of a good book a day. And if you will make that consistent, it will empower your soul like nothing you have ever seen before. And I have a time of meditation, prayer, whatever you want to call it. I have guided meditations that I listen to that I just love. And so it's called Soul Food. Every morning, Soul Food.
So if you're looking to find Dale online, she does have multiple ways to do that. She has a website, and I'm going to now so that you can see what Dale's like. And this is Dale's website. And
there it is.
Where it comes. All right.
You're right
so
there.
This is Dale's website, and there's fabulous pictures of Dale. There's information about her speaking, her topics, her bio, everything you want to know about Dale. This is where I went to steal all the pictures for today to show my beautiful friend off here. Dale also has an Instagram.
Yes, it's all, Lori, it's all at the top of the website. There are direct links if you go to that page. Right at the top of the page is my Facebook fan page, my Instagram page, my LinkedIn page, and my Twitter page. And you can follow me on any of that. We also now have the Hope Doctors on Instagram. And so follow me there on my Instagram page, which rolls to my Facebook page. We're posting positive quotes every day, something of inspiration. So if you would like any of that, just pop over to my social media page and join me there.
And you can follow the hashtag #TheHopeDoctor to see all of Dale's posts and see what is going on in her life and in the world of the Hope Doctor and all of her speaking. And we've got just a few more minutes. If there are any questions that our watchers and listeners have, or Dale, is there anything else that you would like to share that you haven't gotten out there yet?
Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations to all of you that have decided to join us either here live tonight or following us, through the recording. I believe that, it's always those first steps. And I know that you are growing and expanding in your life if you've chosen to be here. So first of all, I want to honor you and tell you that I just respect you so much that you made the choice to come here seeking something a little bit different from your life. And I'll mention what Alicia threw out there a few minutes ago. I've had a postcard that I've put out there in the world for years. We've given away tens of thousands of them, that talks about how your words change your world, that what you focus on gets bigger. And some of the words that I change, and one right now is we're not stressed out, we're blessed out. Because every day, if you stop and find a way to consider yourself blessed, and we're not nervous, we're energized, we're not overwhelmed, we're in demand. And now, right now, I'm just saying today is a character building experience, because what we give power to, like I said, is bigger. So start to create those words in your world, especially during this time. And I noticed it myself. I started to say, I've just said it so much, and I'm like being on word patrol of myself, that I caught myself saying, well, I've lost all of my business. Well, it's not lost. It's just exploring right now. It's on pause right now. I didn't lose it. It's just moved a little bit further out. And so, because lost feels like it's never coming back and it can't be found. And that is just not the truth. I know that this message will continue, and I'll continue as the Hope Doctor. And I just want to say thank you for being here tonight.
So Dale was talking about the postcard. Laurie and Dale definitely make a great team. So glad I was able to listen. I think I'm going to try and do a 30-minute time for me every morning. Maybe me and my pup.
I like it, Stacey. Hey, Stacey, will you please message me on Facebook or Instagram and let me know how that's going? And I know that you are going to do it. You're going to create 30 minutes. And guys, be kind with yourself. These are creating new habits, and it's not always easy. So if you miss it today, don't go beat yourself up and go, oh, that won't work. But say, hey, I'm a champion. I start again tomorrow. You know, today's a new day. Forget yesterday. It's yesterday. Goodbye. And starting today, because you know what? All those things from yesterday are like your rear view mirror. It's this big. Your windshield is this big. So glance back there and go, okay, wasn't totally great right there. So we're going to do it again. So let's go, Stacey. I'm with you.
So here's the postcard. See, I got up and got mine off of my bulletin board, because mine is on my bulletin board here in my office.
We've had so many new pictures since that card. So if anybody wants the postcard, all they have to do is reach out to me, and I will mail it to you.
Well, Dale, it has been just such a blessing to me to have you here on.
Already?
I know, it's hard to believe we've.
It is. Oh my gosh, it is. It's. Oh yeah, I see it is. Guys, thank you. Much love from my Nashville heart today to all of you. Thank you for being with me today. Lori, I don't know if you can hear me, but your screen flows. And so I don't know if you're still there. I couldn't hear you any longer. The screen froze. So I'm going to say one more time, goodbye to everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope to see you over on some of my social media platforms really, really soon. God bless you. Oh, thank you guys. Thanks, Jessica. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you guys so much. I hope to see you again. It's going to be awesome. I can't see Lori, so I don't know. Hey, if you guys can still hear me, drop a line in the chat, because I can see the chat, but I can no longer see Lori. So I don't know if we're still live or not. I know that we still have 5 minutes left, so I can still see the chat. So if you can still hear me and to let me know we're still live, then, oh, yay. Thank you, Jessica. Okay. Hey, I didn't intentionally take over the show. I didn't bump Lori out on purpose. It's like she just vanished. So Who's on board with trying something new? Is somebody going to, are you going to jump in on the journaling? Who's going to be willing to say, hey, I'm going to try this journaling thing? Is anybody in our chat right now willing to say, hey, Dale, I'm going to venture out and try the journaling with you and let you know how it goes? I hope you will. Okay, Alicia, thank you. Technology is awesome. You know, I was so unsure of how this worked. I've just now figured out Zoom. And so this was a new platform, and I'm still here and Lori's not. So let's see. No takers on the journaling thing, you guys. Let me see if I can see any of the chat. All right, let's see. Lori's texting me, so hold on. She says she's not sure what's happening. Hey, Lori, can you hear us? Can you see us, Lori? I don't think she can, guys. We're right at the hour, just a few minutes away. So my email is dale@winnersbychoice.com. If anybody wants to reach out to me about any of the books. Oh, there you are. You're back. Oh, great, Jessica. Jessica's going to start a journal tomorrow. We can't hear you, Lori. Lori, I consider this hijacking your show.
Can you hear me now?
Now, there you are. Hey, Sherry. I said I just hijacked your show. I didn't mean to. Okay, I think she's gone again. All right. Jessica, I am so excited that you're going to start a journal tomorrow. Just really go for that. I think you will absolutely love how it's going to affect you. And I would really please let me know your result, because as we're putting this new journal together, I would love your input. All right, Sherry, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now, Sherry? I know Lori's still muted. Nope. Nobody? Everybody gone? Okay, awesome. Reach out to me. That's going to be great. You guys have really blessed me tonight. It's been a minute since I've been able to share like this, and it has just brought such a smile to my heart and soul that you guys have participated and been here tonight. So big hugs to all of you. I'll be thinking about you, and I can't wait to hopefully come back again, and maybe you'll join me over on the Hope Doctors for some of my things in the future. I hope to see you there.
I lost connectivity. Now Dale is sitting out there.
I can hear somebody.
Can't get on.
Okay, guys, I think we've lost Lori, so I am going to leave. There you are. It says, so sorry for technical dip. There you are, Lori. I hear you.
I do not know what I did. I do not know what happened.
I can hear you, Lori, but we just can't see you. So I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right, guys, I don't know if you guys can still hear me or not. So I have a little button here that says leave the studio. So I'm going to leave the studio. Thank you again for joining us. This is Dale Smith-Thomas. I hope to see you again out there in the great world of technology. And I can't wait to hear about all the new things that you're going to put into practice in your life. Thanks again, Lori. Thanks for Bright Spots. Love you guys. Bye.
You can hear me? You can hear me? Seriously?
I can hear you.
Okay. Now where's Dale? Oh no. Now we've lost Dale. Okay. Now where's Dale? Oh no. Now we've lost Dale. Okay. Now where's Dale? Well, I'm guessing that Dale said goodnight, and there she is. Well, that was a challenge.
Character building.
I have no idea what was happening.
It's like they could all keep hearing me. It's like I hijacked your show. That's what I told him. I said, I've hijacked Laura's show and I don't even know how I did it.
I don't know what happened. My computer completely shut off and I was trying to get it back up and I switched to my other monitor and I couldn't make it. I couldn't make the sound work. Oh,
I could hear you a little bit and I could hear you and they would say, Laura, you're muted. And whoever, they all said that. And so I just kind of signed off. I said, I don't know what's happening, but bye, y'all. Thanks for being here.
All right. Well, we are going to end this broadcast officially since we're going to have to find another ending. I'll have to edit it for you and put a real ending on.
Oh, gosh. I think it's fantastic. It went so fast.
We had to pivot, right?
Yes.
We had to pivot. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
People joined in?
What's that?
Could you tell how many people were joined in live?
At the peak, we had a little over 20.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I saw 22 at one point.
Okay. So I couldn't tell by, all I could see was people when they would chat. So
yeah, the number went up and down, up and down. Yeah, it's hard to tell. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Just
we're still live.
Let me know if there's a link that I can repost, like the YouTube or whatever. Let me know when you have that.
We are still live. Let's see. I didn't realize we were still live. Look, it is fabulous. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
So, folks, we are going to officially sign off of Bright Spots. Thank you so much, Dale Smith-Thomas, for being our fabulous, fabulous guest. And we'll see you again next week. Dale, don't go anywhere. We'll see you again next week on Bright Spots. And remember, when things get rough, pivot.